Hello everyone, I'm Ivan Spirov, a philosophy doctor from Sofia University, Bulgaria. Aristotle, an ancient Greek philosopher who lived in the 4th century before Christ, invented some of the most common and well-known political terms and concepts that we use today, including the terms politics and democracy, and the concept of middle class. The word politics comes from the Greek word politika, which means the affairs of the polis, and polis is the ancient Greek city-state, such as Athens, Sparta, Megara, Heraclea, etc. In Aristotle's philosophy, the term democracy is closely related with the term politia. These couple of terms correspond to our modern concepts of bad democracy and good democracy. Bad democracy is when the majority rules in its own interest, in the interest of the majority. And good democracy is when the majority rules in common interest, or better to say, in the interest of each and every citizen. And that's politia. Aristotle was a student of Plato, but he criticized his teacher in almost everything. From today's perspective, Plato was the first communist in history. He wrote a dystopian book called The Republic. In this book, he totally denies private property, and he demands not only all movable and immovable property to be common, but also the women and the children to be common. And this corresponds to the early Leninist communism from the beginning of the 20th century. Aristotle defends private property and middle class in his book called Politika. I will give you some very interesting quotations from this book with the standard international numbering for Aristotle's texts, so you can find this quotation easily in every academic edition of Aristotle texts in any language. Now let's hear why Aristotle thinks that common property is something bad. In Politika 1261b, he says, property that is common to the greatest number of owners receives the least attention. Men care most for their private possessions and for what they own in common less, or only so far as it falls to their own individual sake, for in addition to the other, they think less of it on the ground that someone else is thinking about it. As a person, end of quotation, as a person who lived in a communist dictatorship, I can personally confirm that this is absolute true. Now, in 1263a, Aristotle says, the regulations for the common ownership of property would give more causes for discontent, for it both in the enjoyment of the produce and it the work of production. They prove not equal. Complaints are bound to arise between those who enjoy or take much but work little, and those who take less but work more. End of quotation. There is a notorious saying of Karl Marx, which is from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. And as we can hear, Aristotle totally denies this principle 23 centuries before Marx. I'm wondering why Marx didn't know that, because Marx was a PhD student in antique philosophy, but maybe he was too lazy to read Aristotle carefully. Now, let's hear what Aristotle says about the importance of the middle class. In Politika 1295b, Aristotle says, "In our states there exist three divisions of the state: the very rich, the very poor, and thirdly, those who are between the two. Since then it is admitted that what is moderate or in the middle is best, it is manifested that the middle amount of all of the good things of fortune is the best amount to possess, and little below. But surely the ideal of the state is to consist as much as possible of persons that are equal and alike, and this similarity is most found in the middle classes. Therefore, the middle class state will necessarily be best constituted in respect to those elements of which we say that the state is by nature composed." End of quotation. The middle class and the private property are the spine of democratic societies. Today, the global elites are putting a lot of pressure on the middle class because they don't want democracy. They want some sort of global oligarchy. I'm not exactly sure what their actual plans are, but I really hope they will fail. Thanks for watching.